Hello. So I want to do a short video about like why I don't use like certain characters, because a lot of people notice that in my videos I've been running with 5 mages, but people ask me why I am not using some of the limited time legendary mages like Berkanan, Iarumas, or Shelirionach, because they notice that I do have them in my inventory, like that I can summon any of these at any time because I have them. Like have Iarumas right here, I have Berkanan, she's actually out on dispatches right now, but I don't use her on my team. I also have this one here, Shelirionach, but people ask me why I don't use them. Like, aren't those characters good? I'm like, they're good, but the problem is I have exactly 1 copy of each, which means I would not be able to discipline any of them, which would greatly hurt their power, like would limit their ability in battle. Because discipline adds a whole lot of stats. I actually did a full video about the benefits of discipline, but a character like Elf Mag, she is very easy to get to discipline rank 9, and discipline rank 9 gives a whole lot of stats, including like nearly half of her total SP. From discipline, she's getting any other, but I don't have anything else affecting it, so her SP is 22 base, plus 18 from discipline. Same thing with like Alice, she only has 22 base SP. Her base SP is only 22, so if you want to use Mental Unity on your mage, you're going to need that SP, because that Mental Unity takes 6 SP. And with 22, you'd only be able to use Mental Unity 3 times, which in a tough boss fight, it's not uncommon to use Mental Unity more than 3 times in a single boss fight. So just like not having discipline can limit how you use your mage. You won't have as much MP, you won't have as much HP, you won't have as much SP, you won't have as much any of the other stats. Like I said, here's what you get. I'm just gonna put on the screen what you get at discipline rank 9, but you get like, so for a general, for Nameless Venture, they get plus 18 to like all stats, and then like, you know, 64 HP. Whereas like a legendary adventure, even a discipline rank 6, like they are getting less stats than a Nameless adventure discipline rank 6. So you'd have to pretty much take them to discipline rank 7 just to pass a Nameless adventurer in overall stats. And if you can't discipline them at all, I mean, they're kind of weak. Sure, they might have a decent passive that might be cool, but it isn't enough to make up, like, it doesn't justify using a character who is worse in literally every statistic, when I could just take, like I said, use a character I can discipline easily. Like, same thing with, like, these general adventures, like Asha. Like, you know, they said it's like they're a lot easier to discipline. Plus with the mage, like the general adventures, you have all of these jeweler, you have these like bundles that appear, like that can appear weekly, not necessarily every week, but you see this mage cautery set has 10 mage remains bones. There's only 4 bones that can appear here. Like, there's only 4 characters appear: Yarmil, Asha, Dino, Flute. 25% chance of each of them, and you could buy 10 of them. So, and it takes 36 bones to max, like I said, you have to 36 copies to max general adventure, max discipline rank 9. So if you bought this bundle 15 times at $235, sorry, to be about $239.85, it's $15.99 per purchase. So if you bought 15 times, you would have enough mage bones to max discipline all 4 of these characters. You could have 4 max discipline mages for just $240, or more realistically, you'd have max discipline Asha, max discipline Dino, and then have Pharaoh and Meagle rank 4 on both of them. Like, you could just get a lot more value, whereas if you wanted to max somebody like Shelirionach, or max out somebody like Berkanan or Iarumas, it'd cost you a lot more to get, because the limited time legendaries, there's only a 2% chance of actually pulling them on the banner bone. Like, if we go to the current banner here, like, the chances of pulling the new character is 1 in 50. And you need 16 to max discipline a legendary adventurer, so you would need about 800 pulls. And that's like to actually max discipline one. But of course, you can trade some of your coins. You can use the exchange to try to make up some of those copies. But even then, even in a best case scenario, like an average rate, you need about 550 pulls to get enough copies to max discipline. And that would take around 100,000 gems, about 100,000 gems of org. And I said, you're just going to have to spend a lot of money. Like, you'd have to buy like the gem bundles. You can buy them here. Always buy gem bundles from a website. The website gives better deals. But you would have to spend about $1,500 to get enough gems to get to max discipline Shelirionach. So it'd be about 6 times the cost of buying the mage bones to max out 4 mages. It costs you about 6 times as much to max out somebody like Shelirionach. Similar thing with Berkanan and Iarumas, but there was a benefit is that they were a package deal, so you could get both of them. They both had a 2% chance, so is about 125 to get either of them. So rather than needing like 1500 for one, I mean, if you only want one, it'd be 1500, but to get both of them max, it'd only be like 1800. It'd only be about 120,000 gems or so, and it'd be about $1,800. So they said, since they're packaged still, they're a bit more economical, but it's just like, yeah, it's just the difference between a legendary mage and like a nameless mage just isn't enough to justify the higher cost to get the limited adventures. And plus, like the passive, like the inheritable skills are great. Like you could just like inherit like the main skill that you would get on Shelirionach. The Eyes That Know the Future is a great inherit. You can just put that on literally any of your other characters. Like rather than summoning her, because as like said, she'll just always have lower stats. You could just use Eyes That Know the Future on one of your other characters, which is a mighty fine thing to do. You could, like I said, a lot of people recommend putting it on your main character if you only have one, because it is a passive that will let you occasionally evade attacks. That says, chance to evade or reduce the first received damage higher than 50% of own max HP. Activation rates reduced. Some learns about other Shelirionach. A few people have told me they put this on their main character. It's actually really good. So that's a good skill to have. And it's like I said, because if you're not gonna be able to actually max discipline or even get her anywhere close, like even like if you can only do max 3 levels of discipline, right? Instead of doing discipline rank 3 Shelirionach, you could put that skill on 5 of your characters. It's just better value out of that resource. And similar things like Iarumas, Iarumas a pretty solid inherit. So I would say that one's just generally gonna be better. Like the other reason you like the general adventures are better and like nameless adventures is that it's easier to get one with good stats. Right, with my elf mag here, I waited till I had that +1 in IQ at the starting points when you get, like, because they have a chance for a +1 in a random stat. I waited till I had one with a +1 IQ and at least 8 bonus points. So her base IQ ended up being with 91 base IQ level 60. So it just, you can get better stats on non-legendary too, because you have more copies to work with. Because nameless, you get the most copies, it's a lot easier. But similar thing with like the general adventures, especially if you buy those bundles. Like again, those bundles are pretty cheap, and like buying 15 of them would get you enough to max out literally every all 4 of the general mages. And again, they also rework the mausoleum where you can get more bones from like the other ones now. Like you can now refresh. You get this tallow once a week, and you can actually use it to refresh like a bone in one of these tomes. Like if you go to the altar here, you can use the bone summoning. This will refresh one of the random bones. So if you're trying to max mages, I think it takes 2 tallow, but yeah, you can just like I said, refresh those and get that. So it's you wouldn't even have to buy the full 15 bundles. You get it less than that, and that is a much more economical way. Like if you want a mage, it's just a much more economical to use the standard roster characters than to try to go after these like limited time legendaries. Like it's just bad economics. It's not even necessarily I hate the characters. It just doesn't make sense from a economic standpoint, because it's like, these characters are great. Like Varian actually has a pretty solid passive too, and like she's not gonna break your bank to get it, because she has the Frugal Faith, which is an amazing skill to have on a spellcaster. And this is probably the best of the cost reduction, just because the pre-spells, you will always be using pre-spells that are like less than 10, like all kinds of buffs, all kinds of there's a few pre-spells that you'll be casting, like bodies and stuff, but also stacks with Way of the Priest, Way of the Mage. So great passive, and again, it's general adventure. Super, as I said, it just makes more sense to focus on the characters that are easily obtainable. I mean, but as they say, the best ability is availability, and limited time legendaries don't have availability, so I don't recommend ever developing any of them. Like that is generally my recommendation if you are not if you're somebody who spends less than $100 a month on this game, you should probably ignore all the limited time legendaries. So you should just see them as a source of inherits and just focus on like the standard roster characters that you can get in the standard adventures remains. Like these characters here, the standard roster characters, like everything you need for this game, every like set is right here. You don't really need any other characters except the ones in these ones right here. Like I said, that's the best way to go about it. Certainly from a cost to benefit point of view, that's what makes the most sense. Anyway, hopefully that answered the question, because a lot of people, but I've seen several comments asking, why aren't you using Berkanan? Why aren't you using Shelirionach? That's why. just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Just seems like a better deal than trying to chase like out of these like limited time legendaries, like because of just the way this game works. Anyway, not too much more to say on this one. If you want to know more about how discipline works and what the benefits are, though, I did a full video about that, which you can find down below. As always, thank you for watching.